Hello everyone, this is Sam, and in today's video we will once more, as per our habit, deviate from the channel's roadmap and talk about a whole different topic. If like me you have a keen interest in real-life finance, you cannot have missed the waves swept up by cryptocurrencies, and more specifically that of the number one crypto, which is the Bitcoin. While I won't go over everything that a cryptocurrency entails, it is essential for your understanding of this video that I lay out some basics when it comes to them. Bar the complex topic of blockchain and mining, which are quite technical, what interests me today is the way the public treats these alternatives to what we commonly call fiat currencies. The word fiat is taken from the Latin word fieri, which is translated as let it be done. This denotes a certain degree of autocracy, which means having and exerting power in and of itself. A fiat currency is a currency that isn't backed by any other asset and instead relies directly on what it originates from as a form of backing. For example, the US dollar is backed by the US economy, and while it can't be exchanged for gold or silver, it will hold value as long as the US economy strives, except in the case of an inflation crisis. This means that the government has full control over it and can thus decide to introduce more dollar whenever it needs to put cash somewhere, to the risk of the money getting devalued and fragilizing its economy. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies rose to avoid the most common issues met with fiat currencies, mostly in terms of risk. Cryptocurrency trades are all publicly recorded in a decentralized system, which allows for full transparency, all the while being a guarantee of security and trust. You can't fake a transaction nor try and introduce extra currency in the system, as everything is stored in a database known as the blockchain. In a sense, Bitcoin is sought after because it is a quick and secure way to transfer value compared to other assets. The reason why it keeps soaring in price is because it is perceived as value storage. Since there is a finite reserve of it, as more and more people use it to transfer value, such as paying for goods, sending currency to another individual, or even as a bona fide asset, it is bound to appreciate more. Recognition as a means of payment was a major feat for it that truly helped it skyrocket along the recent stimuli in the US economy that incited people to hedge against the US dollar's inevitable inflation. With everything that I have said in this lengthy introduction, you should already see where I am going with this video. We have seen the rise of an item quite similar in its means and purposes as cryptocurrencies can be, and it is now time to talk about the rise and possible fall of Guild Wars 2's greatest alternative currency, the Mystic Coin. The best way for me to describe how Mystic Coins have changed over time is to go back to the source of all troubles, their acquisition rate, and how that has evolved with patches. Back in 2012, as the game was released, there were two kinds of time-gated achievements, the daily and the monthly achievements. The former required you to complete one in a set of 4 tasks with different tiers, awarding you some achievement points upon completing either one of the 4 daily tasks to its final tier. In late January 2013, this changed to 5 sets of daily tasks, all of which you needed to complete if you wanted to get the additional rewards, and a month later, you had a choice of 9 different tasks, of which 5 needed to be done to receive the daily reward. Some further consolidation of dailies happened throughout 2014, growing from 10 to 12 possible tasks to choose from, of which 8 were PvE related, with another 2 pertaining to World vs. World, and lastly 2 to PvP, while still needing to complete 5 of them for the reward. The most important part about all of this is that said reward did contain a Mystic Coin. The second type of time-gated achievement was of the monthly kind. From a total of 10 monthly tracks, you needed to complete 4 in order to perceive the monthly reward, and could do the other 6 for some additional experience and achievement points. This didn't change since the release, and the reward was as such a constant 20 Mystic Coins, 10 Laurels, 50 Silver, some Karma, and a legendary Essence of Luck. This puts us on track to understanding exactly what happened with the Mystic Coins. They were somehow considered equivalent as a commodity to 10 Laurels, whereas nowadays in the loading reward system, the same amount of Mystic Coins goes against 35 Laurels up to 55 if you pick them as your final reward. As we mentioned the daily login reward system, it is a good opportunity to remind everyone that this is when everything changed. From up to 50 Mystic Coins a month, bar other acquisitions such as Mystic Clover Recipe Outcome, we went down to a flat 20, with the exception of specific achievements which got added as band-aids to palliate the lack of a faucet. This happened in December 2014, alongside the Winter's Day update, and starting this exact moment, traders slowly realized they needed to hoard the coins, as the mean of acquisition were cut below half of what they were, with the uses increasing with new skin release. Alongside this, Ironnet released a brand new skin, Winter's Presence, which used 150 Mystic Coins for its component, alongside 50 Sigils of Runes, each taking 4 to 8 Mystic Coins, depending on your luck. A single skin asking for nearly 1,000 Mystic Coins certainly began draining the supply, to a point where the Sigil and Rune overhaul of November 2018 felt like a godsend. The final nail in the coffin happened with the release of Heart and Thorns in late 2015, as the new specialization collection required the Mystic Weapons, which used 50 coins each, and the new legendaries needed an extra stack on top of the already rather unforgiving Mystic Clover recipe, putting the requirement per legendary at nearly 2 stacks. But would supply be the only factor to explain the rising price of Mystic Coins? Are we simply facing an issue dealing with the lack of involvement from ArenaNet? Why haven't we seen a fix yet when there is a clear issue from a player-based perspective? Let's answer this now. Indeed, ArenaNet took a rather quick stance on the situation, with former President Mike O'Brien sharing his insights on Reddit in an Ask Me Anything tied to the Head of the Snake Living Story release. Apparently, the cost of Mystic Coins is fine, and that is also a speech you will hear from many rich players, me included. For the people who see no need in their Mystic Coins, it is a blessing amounting to over 40 gold per month per account, simply from logging in. Yet, for people who need Mystic Coins for their legendaries or other skins, this is a cost which seems to get steeper by the day. So what exactly is happening to Mystic Coins that explains this seemingly unending bull run? Well, this is where our parallel with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will begin. As we said during our introduction, the main features that have attracted people is that it allows one to transfer value in a secure and efficient way, alongside the intrinsic qualities that these alternative currencies have to hedge against inflation due to their finite supply, further aided by the growing list of services that they can buy. In the case of Guild Wars 2, Mystic Coins initially started as a rather evident investment for people, investment in which I personally took part, with an entire guild bank full by the time HUT was hitting, ensuring what I called back then a retirement fund. Mystic Coins back then were carried by multiple factors which we can relate to crypto. It gets mined slower as time goes on, and the means of production have been reduced with the shortage of GPUs due to the current health crisis. On the Mystic Coin front, faucets were severely reduced with the login reward changes, and the means of acquisition dwindled as the player base slowly left the game before the HOT release following the content drought. The parallel goes further when considering the usage of Mystic Coins in recent times, going from a material used in the production of high-end skins and legendaries, kept in balance by the ratio of crafters and hoarders versus direct sellers, to an inflated, alternative currency perceived as a safe haven for account value. When looking at the looming inflation period pre-expansion, there is but a step. And that step was originally taken by traders. Faced with the restrictions on in-game mails which ArenaNet introduced late March 2015, mainly in the form of a player only being able to retrieve 500 gold per week as a way to fight scams and RMT, traders have long sought a way to send gold to other players that wouldn't take too many mails and retain value over time. Mystic Coins were chosen as a standard after some deliberation amongst the Guild Wars 2 exchange community due to their relatively high value, nearly 1 gold at the time, and the relative ease of getting them melted into gold, so to speak, by reselling them on the trading post at around the same price they were bought for. This created a demand for the item that was completely uncorrelated with the act of crafting legendaries, forging skins, or even gambling them for clovers. If one wanted to trade for a high-end item, the go-to currency was now the Mystic Coin, and since they are produced at a rather slow pace, hoarding more and more of them meant they would eventually rise in value. This would end up making them a good investment in the eyes of some and a great method of hedging against gold in an economy where both inflation and a price decrease on common goods like tier 6 materials are perceived as a catastrophe. So in the end, what is up with the Mystic coin price? A combination of increased scarcity, huge sinks, and them being picked as an alternative currency to circumvent a mail trading limit has pushed them in the spotlight, and people who are wholly unaware of all these reasons simply went all in with them as an investment, oblivious to the fragility of their backing. There is no reason for Mystic coins to stay up there in terms of price, as if traders picked another alternative currency, they would plummet down to around a tenth of their cost, which is what they initially started stabilizing near at around the Heart of Thorns release. Aeronet is probably not going to take an action against them, as they heavily favor new players getting easy money with logins, and while this would comfort most people into believing in their value, they will eventually reach a point where the community will distrust them and turn towards a currency that can be correlated to the rest of the economy, such as globs of ectoplasms, which are the perfect alternative currency, just like Guild Wars' first of the name did teach us. Indeed, if the bull run keeps on going and Mystic coins see their value go the opposite direction from the rest of the economy, we're all better off finding something else to pour our capital into. Besides globe of ectoplasms, other items that simply retain their value well or are better correlated to the economy, such as equipment upgrades or containers, could rise up as the alternative, but only the future will tell. And the trading community, as they are the population mainly seeking these alternative currencies. This concludes my explanations on the current state of Mystic coins. As you could tell, it is a heavy mix of some initial supply and demand fix from Aeronet, which got taken over by players wanting to find their own alternative currency, and then some frenzy as the reasons for the rising value got mistaken. If you have enjoyed this video or found it informative, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more about the Guild Wars 2 economy, there are many other videos on this channel which you can binge. I believe virtual economies are a fascinating topic, especially in cases like these where we can draw conclusions on what happens in-game based on the analysis of similar behavior in real life. If you wish to support this content and get on top of the gold making game, I have a Patreon where a lot more awaits you for a single $1 a month, so make sure to check that out. And now a word of thanks for our sponsors, among which the studio itself, all of my wonderful patrons and Twitch subscribers, and finally you, the viewers, whose action helped me fight in the midst of the algorithm's violent heights. And now, I wish every single one of you some happy trading and to get rich.